Hey everyone, it's Grant from Millennial Money, and I'm excited to talk about investing in electric vehicle stocks in this video, and more specifically answer the question, is GM stock a good investment? So over the past year, interest in electric vehicle stocks have exploded. Tesla was up over 600% in 2020, but I'm not a hot stock investor. I'm a long-term buy and hold investor. I'm looking for value, meaning those companies that are historically undervalued in the market, that have growth opportunities, that have unique competitive advantages. So I'm not going to invest in the most expensive stock. So as I dove deeper into the sector, I realized that electric vehicles is an incredible growth opportunity and a way to make money, but also support the planet. I believe in the next 10 to 15 years, most Americans will be driving electric vehicles. And so I wanted to take advantage of this forecast and invest in an electronic vehicle company myself. So as I started doing my research into these companies, one company kept popping up over and over, and that's General Motors. When I typically think of GM, I think of my old school grandfather's Buick that I used to sit in the back seat of. But Chevy, which is a GM company, released the Chevy Bolt in 2010, one of the first mass market electronic vehicles, and now they've been making it for over a decade. It's been extremely popular, and GM actually has a history of innovation in the electric vehicle space that I knew nothing about. And so as I dove deeper into the research, I wanted to learn more about whether or not GM was a good investment for me. So I reached out to GM and was connected with Michael Heifler, the Director of Investor Relations for General Motors, and I invited him on my podcast to discuss this question. So on episode 34 of the Financial Freedom Podcast, I chat with Michael about whether GM is a good investment, why someone should invest in GM instead of Tesla, and to talk more about the $27 billion that GM has pledged to invest in their electric vehicle business as they shift the focus of their company and plan to release over 30 models of electric vehicles in the coming years. It was a great conversation. I wanted to cover some of the highlights in this video and provide some commentary on the episode. I hope you enjoy. Press releases, I learned that GM's making a massive push into EVs. Can you share a few of the things that you all are doing?
So we are going to introduce between now and 2025, 30 new EVs. That's a remarkable number of new products. And 2/3 of those are going to be in the US. A third of them are going to be in China. They're going to span across all our brands. And they're going to be different types of vehicles. So I mentioned the Hummer EV, which is a super truck. This thing is so cool, Grant. It goes 0 to 60 in 3 seconds,
Oh,
350 miles of range. And the things that this vehicle can do, it is the Swiss Army knife of vehicles. Also going to follow that up with our Cadillac Lyriq, which is a beautiful vehicle. It's a mid-size crossover. So the Hummer will launch in about a year's time in the fall of 21. The Lyriq will be available in the first part of 22. And so, it's going to really hit that premium crossover market and, with features, again, that, the market hasn't seen before.
I really like what Michael's saying here, especially given the fact that GM plans to release over 30 vehicles in the coming years for all different tiers of the market, from the premium crossover to the sedan to the popular pickup truck. I think this is a unique strategy that will give them immense competitive advantage and penetration into the market in the coming years. But the platform here, in addition to just the footprint, really seems like the differentiator.
When it comes to the platform, I believe I mentioned Ultium, and that's the brand name for the platform that we've developed for EVs. And the key things to think about with Ultium, and it is our secret weapon, if you will. It's a differentiated approach that we're taking to developing EVs. And it really plays on a few themes. One, it is highly flexible, it's modular, and it's highly scalable. And what do I mean by that? Well, we can, off of a common building block, okay, the cell itself, make modules that we can put into battery packs that can accommodate all different kinds of vehicles. So we can, off of the same basic architecture, produce a small crossover. And then we can just add different modules to that same basic architecture and make a very large pickup truck using these common items, right? So getting the scale that's so necessary to drive down costs.
I think Michael brings up a really important point here about the scalability of the model. The fact that GM are building these vehicles from the ground up with scalability in mind allows them to roll out more models faster and really use their size to their advantage. Why should someone invest in GM instead or maybe in addition to Tesla?
There's really three three things to consider from an optionality perspective, from an investment perspective. Beyond the fact that valuation is absurdly low right now. And one is our ability to transition into EVs and be successful in EVs. And use EVs as an opportunity to grow. We talked about some of the licensing potential of EVs, but when you look just really at the U.S. for a moment, and you look at our sales, where EVs are taking off, there's about 10 or so states, generally on the coast. And look at the GM market share in those states and relative to our overall, our national market share. We're actually under-indexed in those states. So by leveraging the technology, coming out with really compelling EVs, if we were just to normalize our share in those 10 states, we would pick up 200 basis points of overall market share. So that's 280,000 units. So that's just one example, one possibility of how this can translate into tangible growth for GM, in our business. And we've talked about EVs being as profitable or more profitable than our ICE vehicles. So EVs are a tremendous growth opportunity. I mentioned Cruise earlier. That's our autonomous vehicle business. We own, between 75 and 80% of that business. We do have some minority investors in there. And we are a leader in autonomous vehicle technology. We plan on, solving, that equation and getting that business commercialized. And Grant, when that happens, look out. The growth potential there, we're talking a multi-trillion-dollar TAM. And that business could easily eclipse our business today, which is somewhere around 150 billion revenue business. So that's the type of growth potential that we see in autonomous. And the third thing I would point you to is connectivity and software. So we've been hiring thousands of software engineers. We've been attracting tremendous software talent. And I think it's going to open the doors to new revenue streams that are recurring in nature for GM that are really going to be able to move the needle.
So now back to the original question, is GM stock a good investment? I think that Michael presents a compelling case for GM's unique competitive advantage in the electric vehicle space with their plans to invest over $27 billion towards their electric vehicle efforts. Also, the fact that they were an early entrant into the market with both the Chevy Bolt and other vehicles. They've been at this for quite some time. And the fact that they have a platform mindset, given all the software engineers that they're hiring, as well as their cruise automation technology. If they can crack the code on automation within the electric vehicle space across such a broad portfolio of vehicles, they certainly have a unique opportunity in this market relative to the other electric vehicle stocks, which have exploded in value over the past year. GM, I think, represents a unique investable proposition given the low valuation within the market and the significant innovation and upside. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.